Good afternoon, everyone. Can I ask you all to please take your seats? We're going to start now with this Powering Past Coal Alliance event. Thank you all very much for coming. I'm going to be super brief because we have a packed program this afternoon, but just to let you all know that on your seats you have some headphones for translation. If you tune in to channel 0, you'll hear English. If you tune in to channel 1, then you'll hear Spanish, as we have a number of speakers this afternoon who are going to be speaking in Spanish. But as I said, it's a packed program, so I'll let our speakers introduce the topic. But let us first of all start with a short video that we've put together to explain why we're here today and what our call for action is about.
Sector is the single most important step to get in line with the 1.5-degree goal.
So in 2017, the UK and Canada launched the Powering Past Coal Alliance, the PPCA. The PPCA is the world's leading coalition of governments and other organisations working to accelerate the transition from coal to clean energy. Countries took historic steps towards this at COP26, but we need to move much further and faster.
The time to act is now. Humanity must urgently work together to accelerate the shift from coal to clean power generation. Non seulement cette transition stimulera la croissance économique et créera des emplois, mais elle sauvera aussi des vies. Nous pouvons littéralement voir la différence dans la qualité de l'air de certaines villes canadiennes depuis que nous avons commencé à sortir du charbon. Rien n'est plus important ni plus urgent. I invite leaders across the world, no matter where you are in your clean energy conversion, to join us, powering past coal, the best way to ensure a sustainable future.
Millions of people around the globe die each year as a result of breathing in polluted air from the burning of fossil fuels like coal.
クリーンエネルギーはより安全で、より安価で、より雇用に役立ち、人々や地球にとってより健康的です。
The transition from coal to clean is not easy and must be delivered in a way that expands access to safe, secure and affordable energy for all.
First, no country should have to choose between the fight against poverty and the protection of our planet. Second, each country is entitled to follow its own national path.
We all have a role to play in finding more ways to work together for the sake of our health and our children. I look forward to seeing the progress we make together. All the best.
I hope you enjoyed the premiere of our new video. And we're really delighted to have with us to open our event today, Jennifer Morgan, State Secretary and Special Envoy for Climate Action from Germany.
Thanks so much. It's wonderful to be here at a fantastic initiative that has, I think, just increased both in its importance and in its participation. And that's both good for us, good for people, good for the planet. So thanks for giving me the chance to kick this off. And in a way, looking around, I feel a bit like we are all in this together. Those of you who are involved in this, you know all the different pieces that have to come together to make this work. And I also just wanted to warmly welcome the newly converted, the new PPCA members. Are you going to announce them, or can I mention them? I'll leave it to the co-chair of the PPCA. So lots of new members from very different corners of the world. And I think you then see whether it be companies, cities, regions, large countries, smaller countries, you know, it's a great mix. So I'll leave the list and the anticipation over to Graham. But I think the new members, your participation really strengthens our common voice for global phase-out of coal power. And that's a dynamic that I think is urgently needed here in Dubai in our COP negotiations and in several capitals and regions around the world. And it goes with, of course, the scaling up of affordable energy solutions, renewable energy as well, and tackling energy access at the same time. We need to power up and power down, power out. We know the science here. The science is very clear on what we have to do. And we've been hearing this quite clearly from the IEA, from IRENA. We have to accelerate the phase out of coal power, stop building new plants, and stop private coal finance. And we have to triple renewables by 2030 and double the rate of energy efficiency improvements. And these are not only the things we have to do for the science, they are also the things that are affordable, and they bring so many multiple benefits for people, as well as, you know, driving down coal, which is at the heart of, I would say, the survival of the most vulnerable countries in the world. I was recently in the Pacific, and I can just tell you that this alliance and the decisions we take here at the GST are just so fundamentally important and at the center. Because if we fail with this agenda, obviously there are lives that are massively at stake. If we succeed, we can build up that sustainable energy future that shines really far brighter than the current reality, offering new jobs, improving air quality and public health, or providing access to energy to all. And I would say also bringing together the shift in the global energy landscape and bringing forward new players for energy access and opportunities as well. That's why it can all contribute into that GST decision that we need to take here next week. We have to land that by phasing out fossil fuels, starting with coal, for an energy system that is predominantly free of fossil fuels in line with 1.5. We also obviously need to come up with the solutions and many solutions for existing coal assets. I think this is one of the biggest challenges. So we welcome this idea of a commission to discuss and propose possible mechanisms. But we know that is not, financing is fundamental, but it's not enough. We need this just transition. We need that to be at the center in all of our countries. I can just say, hello, Minister, nice to see you. I can just say that in Germany, this has been fundamental to have all stakeholders at the table and move forward a just transition, because it can bring people, workers, communities together while addressing the challenges to those most affected and least able to respond. So I wish this alliance all the best. I also want to let you know we can continue the conversation at the Berlin Energy Transition Dialogue to implement the decisions we're going to take here next week on the 19th and 20th of March. And I have the honor and the pleasure to introduce Minister Graham Stuart, who also, very importantly, is the co-chair of the PPCA. Floor is yours. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Jennifer, and thank you, everybody, for coming in. We're filling up, and we have ministers coming in and joining us, as well as on the stage. And I'm delighted to be here representing both the United Kingdom and the Powering Past Coal Alliance. And as no country knows better than the United Kingdom, for hundreds of years, coal has been the world's most reliable source of energy, jobs, and wealth. It's helped heat buildings, power transport, build economies. But that era is ending, because we now know, in the way that we didn't before, that coal power is also the single biggest source of global emissions, and therefore the biggest single contributor to climate change. Now, 2 years ago in Glasgow, we led an historic worldwide commitment to speed up the reduction in unabated coal power. But, as Jennifer has just set out, it's clear we need to go further and we need to go faster. As the global stocktake has confirmed, after a year of extreme weather and record-breaking temperatures, we are losing ground in the race to reach net zero. Analysis from the International Energy Agency shows that we can't afford to build a single new coal power plant anywhere in the world if we are to keep the Paris Agreement within reach. And yet, of course, coal remains the world's biggest source of electricity, accounting for more than a third of global power production. For the second year in a row, coal-fired generation has hit new heights, pumping record amounts of carbon into the atmosphere, even as we gather in meetings like this, saying that we need, and we all recognise the need to go in the other direction. So it shows that now more than ever, it's time to crack down on coal and speed up its demise. Now, is that doable, you might well ask? Well, the UK is proud to be leading the way because in 2012, just 11 years ago, nearly 40% of our electricity came from coal, just 11 years ago. Next year, it will be zero. Next year... So in 2024, we will become one of the world's first major economies entirely without thermal coal power. And we are rapidly replacing those plants with a blend of nuclear, wind and solar generation instead. But of course, this is a global challenge and none of us are doing it by ourselves. We've got to work together. And the phasing out of coal is truly global and needs a unified response from across the world. That's why I'm so proud of the work that we're doing with the Powering Past Coal Alliance, just 6 years old, which we launched alongside Canada in 2017 to persuade other nations to cut out coal. And although the PPCA is now fronted by two men, within 2 minutes of coming here, I saw the two women who were in fact the originators from the UK and Canada of the PPCA. But since those women started this, the alliance has gone from strength to strength, with more than 180 members today. By joining the PPCA, governments and organisations commit to phase out coal. And the alliance then works with them to develop the necessary policies and financial environment. And it's great to see how the expanded PPCA Secretariat, led by Julia Skorupska, is building out its convening of member expertise on coal phase-out and supporting these transitions. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted, and thank you, Jenna, for allowing me to do this. I'm delighted to announce that a number of new members have now joined the Alliance for COP28. Cyprus, Czech Republic, Dominican Republic, Iceland, Kosovo, Norway, the United States of America have all taken the bold step to join the PPCA earlier this week, as well as Toyan City, Wielko Polska, and the Philippines energy company Arsen. And, ladies and gentlemen, the good news doesn't stop there. As of today, I'm delighted to announce two further new members, Malta and our hosts, the UAE. I would also like to never try to compete with the Brazilians when it comes to noise and having a party, but we've done well so far. I also welcome the Grantham Research Institute as a new partner of the Alliance. This is the kind of leadership required to make a genuine difference. And I would encourage every other nation here at COP28 to heed our call and seek to take similar action, not just to stop the building of new coal power plants, but to retire existing fleets early and scale up clean power in its stead. But exactly as Jennifer said, it must be done in a way that is just. We must ensure that they have the technical support and the financial support so that no one is left behind as a result of this transition. Let's take advantage of our strength in numbers. Let's seize the momentum of the 28th COP and ramp up global ambitions. Let's end the era of unabated coal power once and for all. And instead, Let's bring in a new age defined by cleaner air, healthier communities, and a sustainable planet. Thank you all very much.
Mr. Guilbeault, who is the Minister for Environment and Climate Change in Canada.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you so much, Graham. So my team prepared an excellent speech which touches on all the points that Graham and Jennifer have spoken about. So unless someone insists that I repeat everything they said, I will be very brief. I was in the room, in fact, in 2017 in the environmental movement, the first meeting of PPCA. There was about 50 of us in the room. UK was already on its way out of coal. Canada has already had legislated to be out of coal by 2030, and a bunch of other countries who did not really use coal. And it was an idea. It was a dream to a large extent that we would somehow build this momentum to get more and more countries, but countries that are still dependent on coal, to work together to find solutions to get coal out of our electricity mix as fast as we can. And here we are, 6 years later, more than 180 partners, major emitters around the world, countries that are still very dependent on coal. I see Rick Duke there from the State Department in the back. I want to thank him and his team in the US who've played a major role to ensure that the United States come on board. And now that we're figuring out how to do this in our own country, as I said, Canada already has legislation to phase out coal by 2030. We'll get there much sooner than that. We've tabled legislation on just transition in Canada as well. We need to work with our partners in the South to do that. We need to support them from a technical level. We need to support them from a financial level. And we're seeing now financiers, GFANs and others saying, we want to work with you to find the ways that we can retire those coal plants that we can't allow to work until the end of their lifetime. And how do we figure out mechanisms to pay for those stranded assets, to pay for the transition in a way that is fair to community, in a way that is fair to workers. And I want to thank the PPCA Secretariat, Julia, and all the team for the great work that is happening. This is happening. We are making it real. We are able, by working together, to cancel coal projects that were being built, but it's not enough yet. We need to do more, and the only way we can do that is by working together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to our two co-chairs for those great opening remarks. We're now really delighted to have with us Ms. Damilola Ogunbiyi, who I think needs no introduction, but is the CEO of C4All and also the United Nations Secretary General's Special Envoy on Sustainable Energy. We're really delighted to have you here with us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Honourable Ministers. Great to be here. I also had a nice fancy speech, but I believe it's the end of the night and we need to be brief. I just wanted to thank the PCA to seeing the UN as true partners. One of the things we partnered with was on the No New Coal Compact, of which we're telling countries that, look, can you at least sign up to not having any new coal? This is really, really critical because as we're looking for the financial structures and the regulation to phase down, we don't want them to continue. As the UK minister said very clearly, we cannot afford to build any new coal. It isn't possible. It isn't good for our carbon budget, and we can't move forward. I work in the sectors of people who have no energy at all. You know, we still have 1 billion people who live without energy poverty. And there's no way that we can honestly say we achieved our climate change targets and still have 1 billion people in energy poverty. I think this is now the most unique opportunity of our lifetime to make sure these people grow green from the start, and it's initiatives like this that allow to do that, that frees up the carbon space, but also frees up the creativity on what does green growth actually look like for nations that have not hit their industrial ages or their capacities with people. And as we look at this and we're talking about coal and all these different figures, it would be really, really nice to put people behind this. This is a very dirty, harmful fuel that actually kills. You know, we're not just saying this in terms of just a climate issue. We're saying this because of all the related diseases because of coal pollution in the world, and this is continually going on. So I think when we can like break it down to a human face and also understand that it's still a threat for many parts of the world who are looking for quick, cheap solutions and being sold a lie that coal is that cheap solution, we really, really need to keep going, and we really, really need to support this initiative. And we wholeheartedly at the UN think this is fantastic and one of the flagship initiatives that even our Secretary General is also pushing. So thank you so much for having me, and just congratulations on getting all these new countries on board.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ogunbiyi. I think that's such an important message, and one that we're really keen to be emphasizing here at this COP, that a transition out of coal is a transition for all of us, but we all benefit by getting out of coal. We all benefit from a reduction of climate risks, from the increase of our health, the reduction of risks to our health, and also from cheaper energy. So for us, powering past coal is essentially part of that mission of achieving sustainable, healthy energy for all. So thank you so much for joining us today.